Hello and welcome to episode 12 of the Audacity Factor podcast. My name is Catherine Daw. I'm your host, also the founder of the Audacity Project, which we will talk more about today. I'm really excited to introduce it to you as the community is starting to come together. I have some invitations, some free swag to offer you as well when you become a member of the community. That will be hosted on Patreon. That will be the home of the Audacity Project community. I'm considering it kind of a village because, as we say, it takes a village. Well, I'd like to invite you to become a part of the village. And not only can you become a part of the village, but you can become a patron of the village as well. The first 100 members at the village level will get free swag that will come directly from me. So make sure to include your addresses. Also, all at the patron level, which is a limited membership right now, will receive sweet free swag from me as well. Okay, so that's a little bit more about the Audacity Project, which I have told you all about as I don't want to use the word pivot, but it's really been kind of an evolution, really, of my business and I don't want to say mark that I want to make, but really the impact that I want to have on the world. And I really am creating this community because I want to have a more widespread impact. I've worked for years one-on-one, and not that it hasn't been rewarding and everything. It can be a bit limiting, and I've done it for so long. I've spent my life literally working with people in all kinds of areas. And now, and one-on-one, it's been specifically one-on-one. I've worked in a few group settings as I have been a teacher, a painting and drawing teacher at a local art center where I lived in Pennsylvania. That was a fantastic experience. And part of what I learned there as a teacher, I'm bringing to this community. And that's part of being able to recognize and nurture and nourish each of you for your own individual, unique, audacious, courageous, beautiful selves. So, and that's what this community is about. It's a community of courage. It's a community of empowerment, empowered choices, breathing life into what you want, not into what you don't want. A community of commitment, of responsibility, of compassion, safety, not as in physical threat wise, but a safe container, let's say, for you to step into your courage, start choosing who you are and being able to show that in a safe way. As we are all here to encourage each other, as I say, we're all here to walk each other home. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of compassion, from a place of love, from a place of joy, from a place of challenge, even. That's what audacity kind of is. I want to challenge you to be courageous. I want to challenge you to take full responsibility and commit fully to that. You will have all kinds of resources in the community. And as I did say, there's some free swag for you. So, and I'm really excited to offer it because it's one of my favorite things. And, so yes, you will have all kinds of resources. You will have an opportunity to pre-order my card deck, the Practical Wisdom deck, so you can have that on hand every single day, anytime you need to ask a question, you need some guidance. That's what this is for. You don't have to say, oh my gosh, who am I going to ask? You don't have to do the whole crowd survey and then just be more confused when you're finished with that. I've actually never been one to do that kind of thing. But then on the other hand, then I usually kept a lot of it to myself. So one of my first avenues to find guidance was in making use of card decks. I've studied many, many, many things. I've studied all kind of energetics. I've studied herbalism. I am an artist. I've studied nutrition. I've studied holistic healthcare. I've studied all kinds of things so that I could myself address all of the areas in my life. And now this will be part of the Audacity Project community. Yes, those are my dogs in the background. I'm not sure what's going on. They're doing a lot of pacing. Oh, I see, because it's their dinner time. So they may be in and out, but hey, this is real life. You guys lay down, please. So anyway, yeah, so I want to invite you to, if you haven't listened to or watched any of the other podcast episodes, I encourage you to do that, because a lot of what you'll find inside of the membership is based on some of these episodes. We will expand on that in there. You will have the benefit of card readings, direct access to me, to the community. There are PDF downloads, there will be all kinds of resources for you in there when you join. And know that I honestly believe that as more people join, the community is better off. The village is better with your presence there. Now, no, there are guidelines like any community, and I do stand firmly by those. So I encourage you to read the information before you make a decision, but I would love to see all of you there. Anyway, I was interviewed this morning by Donnie Lagonis at Innovation Fika, and we had a fantastic conversation. It really covered some of these items about personal responsibility, about commitment, about courage, about empowering yourself. I always talk about, I believe in the power of the two things. You're going to empower yourself or disempower yourself. You're going to undermine yourself or you're going to support yourself. And a lot of that takes dismantling of thinking patterns, of beliefs, of understanding where you've been trained, where you've chosen against yourself, and knowing what it is you actually want, how you want to feel. Because that's so much of what personal growth is about. That's so much about us being discontent or unhappy in our lives. It's about the choices that we make and the actions that we take. Now, when we take actions that are aligned with us, that gives us confidence, that gives us strength, that gives us further guidance, that gives us opportunities. When we choose against ourselves, what we tend to experience then is the life we don't want. We experience the discomfort. We experience uncertainty. We become fearful and anxious, and we can gain a sense of isolation, or that we need to self-isolate to try to protect. This is all undermining for us. So as a community, I want to support us, offer resources to you directly to help empower you, to inspire you to courage, and not just to choose courage, but to take courageous action. Because we can make choices, we can make decisions, but until we actually act upon it, it doesn't become a reality. Action makes it a reality, no matter what action you take. If you're going to say yes to doing something you don't want to do, that action will continue to create those feelings of isolation, the feelings of sacrifice, that feeling of martyrdom, the feeling of victimization. All those things stem from you choosing to do something that you really don't want, something that is not aligned with what you want, how you want to feel, or who you are or who you want to be. Most of us discover that the hard way. I know it's been that way for me. And it was difficult for me to hold the boundary around who I want to be, what's aligned for me and what's not, because understand this, it is not up to someone else to respect your boundary. It is up to you to respect and hold a boundary that you set. And every time, people will always push against it, especially the people that have learned that if they push and continue to push and continue to push, you will eventually let your boundary drop. That's you choosing against yourself. And once more, then, and what that does too is it undermines you. It undermines the trust that you have in yourself and your ability to choose you, what's aligned for you, what's right for you. You know, and as I said with Donnie this morning in the interview, there are many more people watching than we even know or believe. It's not just our children, but it's the people around us that we're not even seeing. But as we demonstrate courage for our children, of course, we want to demonstrate courageous behavior. We want our children to be who they are, who they were meant to be. Well, that has to start with us. We have to give ourselves permission to do that first so that they can see us doing it. We can talk all we want, but if we're not doing it, they're not going to be doing it unless they decide to choose it for themselves and act upon it, which can put you in a bit of a spot, can it not? When you are not doing that thing, yet you're telling them. I used to say about my dad, it's to do as I say and not as I do. My dad was one of those doctors who would tell people about their eating habits and nutrition. However, his were pretty bad. I have to say, I love my father, but that's the reality of it. It was do as I say, not as I do. So recognize if you are doing that, how can you align with yourself? How can you take your own recommendations and commit fully to that? It's about taking full responsibility for your life and everything in it, everything that you're experiencing, everything you want to experience. Because where you are struggling is where you have not taken responsibility or full responsibility. You have not committed to 100% to taking responsibility in that area for whatever the reason is. It's not about judging yourself or shaming yourself. It's about, okay, well, this is where I am right now. I'm struggling. Okay, I can admit to myself I haven't taken full responsibility in this area. What do I do now? And that's always it. And not acting or choosing out of fear, because it really is simple. You make a choice that's going to empower you, support you, or you're going to make a choice that disempowers you and further undermines you. That's the choice. It's simple. And when we can simplify things that much, our choices can be much more clear. It may not be easy. It may be. I want to know, I want to ask you, how much of what we believe is hard is because we are told repeatedly that it's hard? Does it really need to take a long time? Or is it just because we're told over and over and over again, It's going to be hard and it's going to take a long time, but you can do it. Does it really have to? Or is that we just believe that because that's what we're told so many times? Just think about it. Really, that's all. No judgment, no shame. Oh my God, I was in an abusive relationship for 10 years. And the more I judged and shamed myself, the more isolated and lonely I felt, and the longer I stayed. Funny, but not funny how that works. And how many times have you, once you've gotten out of a situation and you look back, I know the whole thing, hindsight's 2020, whatever. However, it's true. You see, okay, well, I probably what this probably wasn't a good idea for me to stay that long. And it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be by changing this situation, whatever it is. So how many times have you done that for yourself? Think about it. Just think about it. And that's really what I want to provide for you is some food for thought, some challenges to challenge your thinking, to challenge your beliefs so that you can challenge them. Say, is this absolutely true? Is this what I want? We all want to feel better. We all want to feel joy and love and compassion and all the things, all the good things. I'm not a believer that with joy has to come fear. I don't believe that. Let courage be your compass, not fear be your guide. Let it be courage. Something that's going to take courage is what is aligned for you. It's not about, they like to say you're either running away from something or running towards something. You know, that's pretty much the same thing because really you're being pushed away and pulled forward. However, courage is the thing that will drive you. It's the fuel for you. It's the compass to what's aligned for you. Again, just more thoughts for you. Okay, again, I want to invite you to visit the Patreon page. It's under my name, Catherine Daw. It is about courage. It's about choices. It's about change. It's about commitment, about responsibility. I invite you to check it out. I invite you to take advantage of the free swag because that's always fun. And I invite you to listen and watch any of the other previous podcast episodes. I invite you to connect with Donnie Lagonis and Innovation Fika and check out our interview that we had this morning. And I will see you all next time on the Audacity Factor podcast.